neglect talking about, but of course the replay is ready as we're going to get straight into it. Smile.
Smile.
Okay, and here we have it. This is gonna be the draft for game 1. We didn't manage to cast this game, but you're here with me.
Would you like to stream on
Permasneeze.
Discord?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Professional stream.
Alright, this cast is gonna be a bit lazy. I say that, but as soon as something exciting happens, I'm gonna be shrieking.
Yeah, I reckon.
I'm gonna try and slow it down a little today, like intentionally, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so starting out Lion ban, that's a targeted ban onto Aquila, so I did a bit of research. Swaghound, Aquila is their lowest MMR player, so like I feel like it's especially important to get him on comfort picks, right? That he's familiar with, like, so that he won't feel like he's falling by the wayside. I think Lion and Shadow Shaman are the two that stand out to me. Same thing for Swaghound, they answer back with a Witch Doctor ban, so that is a Lugano ban right there. I think this is just something Team Drip doesn't like to play against. Although I'm not really sure whether Simple Jack, true to his name, I don't know whether he plays Tinker very much.
I've never seen Simple Jack play Tinker, and I don't think we spotted it when we were scouting them. But
yeah,
it's like uncomfortable for some people to play against Reds.
I feel like Simple Jack is like really, like, I always see him play stuff like DP, Viper, like the good old, like, quite literally simple mid laners. Like, they just want to do their job, no fancy footwork, no like crazy shit. They just want to win in the lane or like do their one job in the game, and that's how he rolls.
A bruh in chat from Lugano seeing the ban.
Oh, is he?
Feels bad.
I mean, yeah, who gets Witch Doctor targeted ban? That's kind of insane. But Lugano obviously very good on that hero and very comfortable as well. Of course, it's not a hero that in itself wins games, but here is one that does. Ogre Magi. Of course, I'm saying that out of sheer bias, as I love Ogre Magi. Just came out with the fucking dragon set too. Feels good.
Feels good, man. And you won a game at it today. Even better.
Hell yeah.
They get the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, like I was saying. Actually, Swaghound, one of their main... That's a very early Ursa pick. Okay, so Swaghound, they very clearly have a plan here.
Huh.
So I don't know how many Swaghound games you've watched, but one of the openings that they really like to go for is Shadow Shaman Mirana. I'm surprised that they're not going for it now, but I mean, they just know... a Centaur War Runner into an Ursa lane.
That seems a little dicey.
I mean, if you pick the right position for, you can actually shit on the Ursa, right? Because as much as Ursa can kind of pressure you in the lane, if you just go max double edge and you hoof stomp double edge him, he actually can't stand up to that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty sad because he struggles with regen, right?
Yeah. So you just need the right pause for. I think it remains to be seen what the pause for will be now. Although I do think that this Shadow Shaman will be a position 5. That's usually where they play it. That's where Aquila goes with it. Whereas Spaceman, he's usually playing those the Mirana that I mentioned alongside Lone on the off lane. So speaking of star players on the side of Team Drip, it's without a doubt Zackman, right? I feel like Zackman is really the guy who puts his team on his back and like has these stand-up performances on his signature mid heroes and pulls it back for them when things are looking dicey. But on the other side though, I think one of the biggest players for Swaghound is this lone off-laner, right?
Yeah, definitely a nightmare to play against. Be interested to see how this one goes because we did see Zackman do a really, really nice performance in the last series we casted.
Indeed.
Yeah, be interesting to see. As for, you want to talk about any of these bands specifically? OD, Cop for Team Drip, and CK Gel for Swaghound? I don't really have a read on this so far.
I think it's all pretty like straightforward stuff. Like OD, people just don't like to play against this hero, right? Because of the 6-minute Meteor Hammer, Resident Sleeper, press 2 buttons, kill a hero vibes. And then Queen of Pain is just very maneuverable and doesn't really care about your Stampede because before you can get on top of her or before you have your own blink, it's so hard to catch her. And she can be a very strong follow-up and just such a strong presence all over the map as well. Not a hero that really cares about the Centaur and can just cut through his big beefy health bar. Another targeted ban onto Zackman though, that's the tiny band out. Meanwhile, they also banned the CK and the Drow. So maybe these are things that they feel like Smoke could pull out. Alternatively, these might also be things that they feel like will mess with their Ursa very heavily, so they just don't want to deal with it.
Only 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I feel like Drow is pretty good at cancelling shackles just because the gust range is so long.
Yeah.
That you don't need to overextend to get whoever is shackled out of that CC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have any issue cancelling the shackles right now between the two heroes that they pick. Both have their own way of dealing with that, and as expected, this is the Mirana Spaceman, a real menace on this hero, and I argue to say it's his signature. It's a Siggy for him right here, so not surprised to see that picked up. I just really... Parents attack, but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised to see it picked up for him. In fact, I'm very surprised that they picked the Ursa before because were they scared that it was gonna be banned out? I don't really understand.
I'm pretty sure Z-Mage is like not a spammer in a sense, but he definitely plays Ursa a lot. This is one of his signatures.
Yeah, but when I think about Z-Mage, I always think about stuff like Jug. Specifically Jug. It doesn't always work out, but I mean, that is his hero, but obviously maybe...
It kind of fits the bill of survivability clause, right?
Yeah, I guess so, like in the same way Ursa kind of has his own end range, right? And maybe that's just the style that he likes, his own like bail out. Because his supports, they don't really pick a lot of save, they don't pick a lot of like heal or like stuff like that. So maybe he's just taking matters into his own hands here. The answer is an Enchantress though, so very interesting hero, not one that we really see a lot in the league. In fact, this might be the first Enchantress I'm actually seeing, period. But the reason for this Enchantress being picked has always been the same, right? It is this annoying presence in the lane. The one thing that I'm confused about is I feel like Team Dread almost feels like they're countering themselves a bit, yeah. They see an Ursa and then they pick a Centaur War Runner, right? And then they see a Mirana and then they pick an Enchantress. It's like all these heroes traditionally ones that kind of line up very well against each other, on the opposing end at least. Because Enchantress, if you bring a creep, you're just gonna get it arrowed, and for Centaur obviously, you're gonna have a bit of a rough lane against the Ursa, but that Enchantress kind of fits the bill for the position 4 that we're talking about, because we said, oh, the Centaur's gonna have quite a rough lane unless they have a strong pos 4 that can really dominate the lane. The Enchantress can do that. It's the Four Hooves gang joining up to ruin this bear's life. But as expected, Swaghound, they're gonna pick up the signature Mars for Lone over here. Lone, of course, one of the standout players, and when put on this Mars, able to do a lot of work from the off lane. Right now, all he's staring at is an Enchantress and an Ogre Magi, none that really threaten the Mars or have any way of really breaking up the Mirana Mars combo in the lane, right? Just a spear into arrow is such a sure kill. It's starting to look like the draft is rounding out pretty nicely for Swaghound here. They're still missing a mid laner for Simple Jack. And beside Team Drake, this might have already been the Z-Man hero. Alternatively, they can also flex this to carry, although I don't know how confident they'll feel about this. The one thing is that you can slide of fist dodge the Mars spear if you're fast enough, right? But I
feels like that's really, really hard to time there.
That is kind of like
rely on it.
That's sort of pushing it a little bit, so I wouldn't. But last band's coming out, a Simple Jack hero band. That's a Viper right there who can really dominate the Ember in this mid lane. They don't want to play against Zeus, so they ban that out as well. Pretty interesting that they choose to ban the Life Stealer, but I mean, I can kind of see it. Although I do think Ursa can outman fight a Life Stealer, but maybe they just don't want to take it to that point. They want to carry that they can run over with the Mars Mirana, and obviously a Life Stealer can kind of body the arrow for his team, right? Like just run in front and press rage, and suddenly that combo just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been too concerned, but it is kind of survivable against the Mars, so understandable that they ban it out. It's also like kind of annoying for Ursa to kill Lifestealer alone just because he can just infest the creep and be gone.
Indeed.
PL ban, much of the same thing. Right, multiple units, you don't really have a way to deal with that yet.
I always am under the impression that Mars just shits on PL in lane, but maybe I'm just mistaken. I feel like PL doesn't really offer much in the ways of lane stability, and Mars does in so many ways, right? He can deny your farm with the Rebuke, he can do so much damage with the like Rebuke spear combo, and he even has a kill threat with that Mirana, right? If you line up the spear, then I mean, I guess they're concerned about the later stages in the game, and I mean, PL with Ogre Magi by his side doesn't need to worry about all too much in the early stage because Ogre Magi will just body all that damage for him and regen it back up.
Who do you think they pick here for Drip? Because I can't really think of a good position one that kind of shores up their issues right now.
I want to say they pick Luna and they go Tempo, but it feels a bit dry. I don't really know what Smoke plays, but I have seen him play Luna, I have seen him play the Lifestealer especially. So pretty lost at the moment. I mean, they do have the option to kind of really run rampant in the early game with this Enchant, Ogre Magi and Ember Spirit trio, right? And having a fourth, maybe a little bit of a more active carry can help them like shore up the period where they need the center to be farming that Blink. Of course, taking a look at this lineup, I'm not sure whether you need Blink per se because you have very nice catch already, and there it is. A hero that can not only scale into the late game but also be very active early on and can benefit from that and Bloodlust as well. And it's gonna be quite a hard lane for the Mars Mirana suddenly because Monkey King can just beat them back with his big staff.
On the other hand there, like Shackles into Arrow is nigh undodgeable for the Monkey, and the core matchup between Monkey and Ursa is so Ursa favored, like you're literally just gonna hit him for like 20 damage during range. It's kind of insane.
That's true, but I think for the Ursa, they're gonna hope that the rest of the side of the Drip members can deal with him while Smoke hopefully is dealing the damage. Of course, it's a simple Jack Death Prophet. Nobody could have seen that coming, just kidding. It is literally one of the only two heroes I've seen him play, but it's looking all comfort for the side of Swaghound here. I'd be surprised if they don't actually pull this out because it looks like they have everything they could possibly ask for.
What do you think is like the most important thing to watch for this game? I would imagine like Ember Spirit rotations. He's kind of got a like, it's not an easy lane, but it's not like atrociously bad against the Death Prophet. So.
Most important thing in this game is to watch the Monkey King's lane. If Monkey King can get an early edge backed up by Ogre Magi on this Mars, right, suddenly a lot of the tempo that they can make is down the drain. Like really down the drain. Because they need this Mars to have a good game. And they need him to be that backup for the Death Prophet, right? Because if your Mars is weak, if you try and group up and get a tower with Death Prophet, they just jump your Death Prophet and he just dies. There's no save, you know what I mean? So Lone needs to have somewhat of a decent lane or at least come out even to kind of make this game count. But if they manage to make it out of the laning stage with a lead or even coming out slightly even, that's where the arena at level 6 and the Exorcism can start to do work on the map in ways that Team Drip cannot, and then from there they can really start to take the advantage.
Oh, considering how much they picked Death Prophet for him, Simplejack does not have that many Death Prophet games, Jesus.
Yeah, maybe it's just something comfortable that he's found in this league as we get into the first game of this series, of course. Wait, let me just set my camera. There we go. Okay, so let me introduce the side of... Does this work? Does this work? Oh, it's starting the camera. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so for the side of Team Swaghound, we have Lone on that offlane Mars. He's gonna be the pinnacle for his team, or the crux to kind of try and make things happen for the squad. He's gonna be playing that position 3 Mars offlane, backed up by Spaceman on the signature Mirana. Looking for him to have a good performance and land those shots where it matters as well. Simplejack on another signature. It's just signatures left, right, and center for Swaghound. Death Prophet mid. Of course, we have Aquila on one of his favorite heroes, as you can see from his beautiful set over here. It's gonna be the... I'm so distracted by the voice lines. They all came prepared, like they all have the same... Ooh, that is some hard chili you're serving up down there. Prepared, but,
it's a nice voice line to spam.
I love it. I love
also,
it.
Can you hear the aircon behind me, or is it like being suppressed?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and last but not least, of course, we have the team captain Z-Mage of Big Dad Energy on his Ursa with the kid on the back, just like in real life. But we're gonna... Okay, so why don't you introduce the other team?
Yeah, on the side of Drip, we have Zachman, the captain and star player, playing the Ember Spirit mid. We have... Whoops. We have Smirk playing the Monkey King position 1, accompanied by what I believe is Lagano playing the 5 position Ogre Magi. It's a pretty disgusting lane. Bloodlust into Jingu is going to be quite hard to deal with all the lifesteal. On the off lane, they have Rise playing the position 4 Enchantress and Big Iron on the center Warren on position 3.
So I'm pretty interested to see how this Enchantress Centaur lane does, right? Because like we said, even though Ursa technically does have a good matchup against the Centaur, like with this Enchantress to back him up, he can really cop quite a lot of damage. Yeah, already
My
getting
main
stomped up
concern
and
is just
auto-attack.
that. Oh shoot!
Yeah, look.
Wow, he's getting perked quite a lot. Jesus.
Blightstone is not a joke. Look at this Enchantress just auto-attacking away. What a pest.
Yeah, and Centaur has 65 base damage.
Yeah.
It's one of the higher numbers in the game, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Quite
a nice
a lot
little
of
deny there, snatching away the range creep from them. Even though the God's Rebuke came out. Oh, Lugano actually starting with Fire Blast. That's an interesting little skill build there. I mean, personally as an Ogre spammer myself, not a big fan, but...
I mean, Smek's getting some pretty good mischief though, just keeping the right click low, because Rana has a really good attack time, but if you could just negate some of the attacks, like over time, you're gonna save a lot of regen.
Yeah. It's all about the efficiency, about like who can stay at high HP here, right? Because that is what the Ogre is gonna try and do, try to wear them down bit by bit. But the thing is, on the side of Swag, they're trying to pick off at the health bars as well, because the second they kind of fall below half HP with a spear and an arrow combo, that's where the kills can start to happen. Lugano though, he's the one standing strong in this lane with that Orb of Venom, beating them back with the club and the ignite.
It's important to note, Urgo started with the Sentry, but hasn't blocked the large camp yet, so could potentially come into fruition later, so I can push in the wave with Rebuke. Like, normally you spam Rebuke to pressure the creeps, and that will like slowly shove the wave in, but now they have the large camp to pull back if they need to. The top
Lugano,
lane.
look at Lugano, just no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, this lane doesn't really threaten him, right? He has so much armor, he's just gonna walk up to them and just bop him in the head.
Yeah, and what's the best way to break up a kill lane? A literal immovable object in this Ogre match, right? He's gonna place his sentry down and finally block the hard camp, but like you said, didn't place it down initially, so the Wild Wings already spawned here. Oh, arrow out of the smoke though. Catching them while Lugano isn't here, they know he's off to the side. And Smoke falling a little low. Here comes the leaps forward. He's the most likely gonna get him there, but a nice stun from Lugano, keeping his carry alive. Smoke is gonna get out of dodge. That was really close, more close than it really should have been. Lugano still has Mango to work with, but opts to turn around instead. Doesn't want to cop this spear to the head. No self for the carry means that Smoke, he's gonna have to be cowering under this tower for a short while.
So, do both heads need to eat?
It's pretty rough. Just having no regen in this lane is like one of the worst things that can happen, because then you always have to be scared and you can't ever approach the wave because Mars just outputs so much pressure by himself in the creeps. Like, it's always like you're going to get Rebuke spammed, you're going to have this threat with Spear into your arrow. You need to be on like 600, 700 HP at all times in this lane, and it's like, without a salve, it's not really doable because of Rebuke.
Yeah, I mean, he is gonna have a ton of tangles to work with, right? So that he's kind of back up to a high HP percentage now. But once again, Lugano, look at him. He's just, every time he's in the lane, it's so hard for them to set anything up because he's just this body in the middle of all of them. They're gonna have to run away, but Lugano, he needs to be so careful about leaving the lane, right? Because the second Smoke is alone here, that's free pickings for the side of Swaghound.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like the CS is pretty even for the bot lane so far. Oh, Courier Snipe.
Yeah, I mean, we get a Courier Snipe here. You're saying CS is even, but look at the mid, that is not even at all. I think, what was this?
Zachman favorite.
Yeah, Zachman almost doubling the net worth. If you're a mid player yourself, tell me a bit about how this matchup is supposed to go, because I have no clue.
This is one of those matchups that is supposed to be DP favored just because you can flame guard, but if you get if you get Spirit Siphons and then you're just getting crit storm, you don't really have enough on the shield to outtrade DP. Also, she has superior base damage, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's one way to play around it, which is basically kind of slingshotting the waves as you would if you're playing against the Viper. Like, we saw Zachman play Tiny against Viper, and what he tried to do was slingshot the waves so that it's constantly under his tower, and that's one of the ways you can deal with it. The other way is just outright out-CSing her, right?
I mean, yeah, Zachman's really getting the better of Simple Jack right now. The triple ramming forward, and that's the first blood! Zachman, we talked about the star players on both sides, and I could not paint a greater comparison, as in, Obviously, no flame to Simple Jack, but Zackman over here, he is the shining star of his team, and this is what he does. He just kind of creates this huge pressure in the mid lane just from maybe winning matchups he's not supposed to, and even getting a solo kill on a DP, which is not something you see very often because DP is known to be this stable laner that can just kind of hold her own, but Simple Jack gonna fall to the surprise level 6 pop. Very nicely done from Zackman.
Yeah, and I was about to comment on his skill bit as Mr. Kill.
Z-Mage has been suffering a lot in this top side, but finally manages to get his claws into that Pesky Enchantress, and Big Iron, that will stomp down. He can't do anything about it.
And Z-Mage has the Morbid Mask now, so a lot of the sustain issues that he'll have is kind of going to be mitigated slightly. He can also jungle with this now, which he couldn't do previously, so the longer this lane goes, the easier it gets for the Ursa, right?
Yeah. And interesting build from Aquila actually. He opts for higher levels in the Shackles, and usually not really something you usually see. But most of the time you see Shadow Shaman before, so the trading is necessary. Speaking of trading though, this is not looking too good for Big Iron as he gets empowered, overpowered quite literally down by the Ursa lane. Now, with the advantage going to their side, they weren't able to harass him out in time. And now, a nice little impeded shot to the backside. But like we said, can't really harass this Ursa out now because he's starting to be able to sustain up himself with that Morbid Mask. And it's just gonna get harder and harder for this Centaur to stay in the lane. I mean...
and one more shot and he's gone.
Yeah, I say that though, but Rise chipping away at his health bar. Doesn't have self.
And with that kill on the Centaur, Z-Mage did a really good job of slowly building Fury Sights. I want to comment about this because it's a thing for Monkey. Normally, you want to get 1 or 2 stacks of Jingu so that the other person feels pressure to leave the creeps. And it's a similar concept with Fury Swipes on Ursa. If you get 2 to 3 stacks of Fury Swipes on you, you're so scared to approach the wave. Big Iron wasn't able to kite back in time and ended up getting hexed into shackles, and there's already so much damage built up that he just ended up dying in one shackle.
Yeah, it kind of looked like with one swipe, so much of his HP just disappeared, right? But he's gonna get salved up here, so now this Ursa a real force to contend with. Don't know whether they can stand around this lane. Actually, while we were looking at the top side, Zackman rotating to the bot side to try and see what he could find, but the side of Swag, they were wary and they backed up. But he does manage to pick off a courier here, so unsuccessful rotation, but he's still sitting pretty in terms of the last hits. 51 now. As you take a quick look at the net worth, as to be expected, Zackman leading the pack at 3.7k. Really coming to this early lead, especially that Javelin completer as well. Gonna start putting out a lot of damage. I mean, it kind of looks like Rise was trying to commit in for a kill, but baited in by Z-Mage perhaps, and Aquila was there to respond, and they're not able to get Ursa yet another kill into his hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is really scary because they don't have an answer for Ursa.
Some action in the bot lane. Simple Jack has rotated downwards and is starting to drain away onto smoke. The Mischief dodge is there, but the crit swarm finishes him off, and now Lugano in a bit of trouble himself. Lone, they didn't manage to do it themselves, but with a little help from Simple Jack, they managed to nail the both safe lane and support in the bot side, and Lone, he's gonna have a bit of a free time for himself right now.
A really nice rotation to get that done with the DD rune, and now he has Exo for the tower if need be.
A Stampede being used probably to get away there on the side of Big Iron. Yep, he salves up. So at 5 Fury Swipes on him, had to get out of dodge, but chasing back the Ursa as well. Relegated to the jungle, Z-Mage is. Oh, this could be scary if they fight him here. Zackman is prowling around the corner. They're pinging out. They know he's there. They see him on the ward, and this could be a huge kill if they get it. The Star Face, not enough, but the Remnant is there to finish him off.
Nice rotation from Zackman.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to get this stack as well, so really slowing down this Ursa who was starting to rise as a threat.
The important thing is that they lost bottom tower. This is gonna open up so much space because they dropped Exer and Zackman rotated top. So if they can't secure this tower in return, like they know there's no cooldowns now, they need to get this top tower on drip right now.
Yeah, they're posturing for it. Zackman already tumbler toying forward, and the Wolf is gonna be there. Aquila, both position 5s trying desperately to do what they can to hold their tower to no avail. 3 members on the opposing ends just charging down that dead lane, determined to get this tower. I mean, they got the kill, but this tower is still sitting pretty healthy, and Centaur, I mean, he has the high levels in Retaliate, so he can start doing that damage back to the tower, but it's not exactly the fastest push.
Smoke, he doesn't really have an area to play right now, right? He TP'd mid after his tower is gone, but Ursa's now in his lane, and he can't match up against the Ursa right now. If ever, actually.
Needs to be so careful of an arrow coming out, but the arena
Oh no!
slightly off the mark. A nice little try from Lone there. Good guess for him, but Smoke maybe feeling a bit threatened already. Just decides to back off, and they don't end up getting anything. Aside the drip now, they could look for a fight since they know that arena's down, but the entirety of Swaghound, they are here to party. But so is Big Iron, and so is Zackman. Oh, sorry, that's not Zackman. That is the Enchantress. Yep, Rise coming in. But yeah, they want to defend this tower. They know how important it is. Bloodlusting it up and bring the whole squad. And looks like the Swaghound aggression will dissipate for now.
I think that you're, like, disappointed by that, because there was a lot of attention, and now Smoke does have room to breathe bottom and actually get some creeps now. And Zackman can pressure this mid tower, because without Arena, he's not really threatened by anything, right?
Yeah,
At least not at these very moments.
I mean,
They did swap the supports around, so Rasta is going back into mid while Moran is the one holding top to get that level 6.
I mean, I don't mind it too much, especially since Rasta already has level 6, right? And
Yeah,
when it comes to the fight, I think as whoever's immediately more useful is this Rasta with the Hex and the Shackles as well. Can do a lot of work and hold the side of these Team Drip members down. But right now, just both sides kind of staring each other off. The grand stare off across the canyon. I mean, Ultimate's up on all sides. Stampede up. They have Ember Spirit Remnants available. They have EXO up as well. They have Arena coming up in 3 seconds. And I'm pretty sure Swag, they're gonna look for time to fight now.
They have EXO as well. This could
Stampede
be
though, on to Spaceman. They want to catch this Mirana, but they don't manage to grab her in time. They don't have the dust or the sentries to make it happen. Meanwhile, the collapse onto the mid lane. Another whiffed Arena from Lone. A bit uncharacteristic from him, but the Fortify as well. Gonna be able to keep this EXO going, but now Zackman with the chains in. Simple Jack falling a little low, has to be careful here. But Z-Mage covering for his friend. And they're gonna be able to sweep up this push. Clean and easy.
Oh, heal has gone to the burn.
Oh, that is unfortunate. And that is the power of Ogre Magi, baby. Level 2 only
And
on
that
the
denied
Ignite.
the region room from the Death Prophet as well. She's gonna have to base. Wait.
Yeah, what is he saying? Wait. I think he's just confused as to how he killed the Shadow Shaman. But we see a pause coming out, so...
That's fine.
Oh, stop with the tips. Oh.
Uh-oh.
A little bit of... We'll stop, it's annoying. Oh. So a little bit, maybe a bit of a... I don't know, but at least both teams can come to a consensus, right? And then they're just gonna show some mutual respect. No tip in, no aggravating each other. Just some good old Dota, which is what we're all here to see. Like you mentioned, they managed to kind of pick out... I think they managed to kind of push away this Death Prophet 2 times in a row, right? As much as he gets that tower, it's kind of all but confirmed. But still, this mid tower hanging on to more than half HP. And Zackman's really just done a great job at keeping them off. Yeah, once again, the Slide of Fist probably gonna come out, yep, clear out this creep wave with the Maelstrom completed. Eyeing up the Aghanim Scepter next.
What do you think is the major time for them to play around this game? Because ideally Ursa wants to hit Roshan, but being on Dire, it's a little bit hard, right?
Yeah, so the thing about this game now is that they really need to kill this tower to even enable Roche, but speaking of killing the tower, Simple Jack, where did your HP go? The Yule straight down back into a slide and the tips come out. I thought we had a bit of an agreement, my friend, but it turns out Simple Jack, when you roll up to this tower a few too many times, you're gonna bite the bullet for it. And this is a big stopper in the DP momentum that she's supposed to have. It's always this EXO that's supposed to threaten these towers, but Zackman has been such a bastion for his team in terms of keeping them off. And this mid tower is so crucial. You asked me what the timing was, it really is this tower because it's just such a convenient gateway for them to keep contesting this area. As we see now, even though they're being spotted out, Drip, they're gonna head straight for this stray. Yeah, the pings are coming out. They know the Shadow Shaman is there. Can they get their hands on it? Here comes the Remnant and the chains as well. The Hex is out, but they see him stampede to finish him off. Yeah, the snakes, they tried to turn it around on Aquila, looking for maybe a fight. Surely under our tier 2, we should be safe, right? Absolutely not. Gets taken down. Simple Jack out here yet again uses the EXO and finally gets the mid tower. So this is something that the side of Swag, they really needed for a long time. They use up, try to set up a kill on the Lugano here. The Exorcism still running, Spirit Siphon as well. Oh god, you stayed a bit too long, the stun coming out, but the Ghost, they're able to clean him up here.
That's really nice. Kills the fort, get the mid tower, that's pretty huge.
Yeah,
The
compared to
last
the
tower
other
right now is
exos,
just
right?
top, and then Roche is kind of free for the taking for Ursa, right? He's already playing this top side, and nearly got the defusal as well.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And I mean, we talk so much about this Ember Spirit, right? Still top of the net worth charts, but this Ursa as well, even though he's nowhere near as farmed as this Ember, still going off to a pretty good start, right? Has the Morbid Mask phase, and like you said, Diffusal almost completed. That's gonna make him such a huge threat.
Yeah, I mean, like, once he gets this defusal, aside from using Stampede to leave, and obviously the Ember Remnants, he won't be able to catch Ember Buds. None of the other heroes are that survivable against the Ursa.
Yeah, I mean, they're all gonna rely on trying to kite him around with the Stampede and the slows and the stuns as well. And chains, of course, from Zagman, as he looks to pressure the mid tower, actually. This looks like a bit of a just solo poke and prod, though. Doesn't really look like it's a team effort at this point in time. There is a kayak catapult for them to work with, but with Simple Jack around, it's just gonna slowly creep storm away this tower, the creep wave. It'll be okay.
Ember's going straight for an axe, no BKB. What do you feel about this?
I don't mind it, it's a Chad move. Zagman. Oh, okay. But we're starting to see why you might need a BKB here, as caught up by the arena, but silence
nice.
not there in time. And once again, the DP nerf coming showing itself.
DP nerf Sag.
Literally DP nerf. If that was not a projectile, it would not be able to be dodged. Just instant silence on the spot. Instead, Zagman able to slide his way out of there. Now counter smoke. They know the arena's down and they want to find more. Simple Jack presenting himself. This is exactly the target that you want. And Centaur is disconnected, but like you said, but the pause coming out. That's a bit of unfortunate timing. Simple Jack already using the Yules there, and Aquila stunned up. Swag, they're probably just considering if they still want to take this fight or not, seeing as it's most likely that their DP is already dead.
I think they just leave. They don't have arena, like...
So I think
if they lose this fight, this is the tier 1 dead. It's a little bit risky to try to take this fight when Radiant has all their cooldowns and Swaghound has none. And then on the other hand, it's like Smurf's farming mid, right? So potentially they could try, but just seems difficult.
Here comes the reconnect. Like you said, Smoke is farming mid, so he's making full use of the space that they're making for him now. But as we get back into the game, and most likely gonna see Simple Jack gonna fall. The Moonlight Shadow coming out, but not gonna be able to keep him alive in time, or is it? Nope. The last Impetus manages to catch him, but Lugano now caught with an arrow as well. Spaceman firing that straight forward, and now Z-Mage, he's here to party. Has the completed Diffuser Blade. Zagman needs to be so careful. The Big Iron in with the Blink manages to finish off Aquila, but he's gonna be traded out for it. Ends up being a mid and support for an off lane and support. So pretty even overall.
I feel like that favors Swaghound a lot more. I wasn't sure. If DP didn't have Exorcism in that fight, then that definitely favors them, but... like, it kind of stings to use your Serpents, because that's the only other tower push you have in this game besides the Exo. We'll have to see what they do, like, probably they want to bring the DP back to Exo this top tower so they can secure Rush. Like, as long as Raiden doesn't feel comfortable around the triangle, like... oh, they scanned out the movement from Ursa as well, so they know this is happening.
So
and like, this is the issue with Ursa on Dire side, like, as long as Radiant plays a triangle, it's so hard to take Roche.
Oh, and the Centaur Storm into the real Centaur Storm. Z-Mage, he followed into the trap here. The nice scan out, and just when it looked like the side of Swaghound, they were gaining momentum, trying to get a sneaky Roche here. Sets it up perfectly for the side of the Drip. A nice Wukong's command over their head. And we're wondering what the synergy was, right? But here comes the arena, catching Zagman. This Ember is such a crucial piece of the puzzle. He has to be careful. We're going to get picked off by the walls and rise as well to fall. Now Lugano has to turn tail and run smoke as well. No Wukong's command to work with. Simple Jack ravaging them with this exorcism. And just as quickly as it turned on its head, Swag, they take back control of the pit with a nice arena from Lone. And Simple Jack comes in to clean it all up.
Missed 2 arenas, no problem. They got them on the Roche, that's fine.
Yeah, and can we talk about how all that started literally scouted by a Centaur, goes in with the poof stop and the real Centaur with the follow-up. Now Z-Mage back to business. Nobody saw that death, right? I just Roshan as usual, no big deal. Silence up of the smoke, needs to be a bit careful. Lone had the blink actually, but doesn't opt to use it. And Smoke manages to leap into the trees and get out of dodge. They're posturing for this top side now, but there's full vision from the side of Drip. They know that they're coming in. Jump away Lugano. Doesn't have to stun there in time. The range too short for now.
free D ward for Drip. They put an observer on top of the sent obs combo. Feels good.
Easy. And
Yeah, what do you think they do now? Like, they're kind of just waiting for cooldowns, right?
No, I mean, they have the Aegis, so they want to fight, but nice little blink away from Lone, keeping him out of harm's way. And I mean, I feel like you need to reset and wait for your cooldowns, right? 7 seconds until Arena, you want to get the Exorcism up before you start to push this top tower. I think you can really fight with this Aegis, especially with the Diffuser completed, but maybe they want the Blink Dagger to feel a bit more secure. Now it's Dream who turned it on its head though, pushing towards this top tower. They're going to clean it up with that Fortify. Not even needed, but just for good measure.
Monkey King's going bottom, but all of Swaghound's members are heading towards him right now. With the Aegis, they might be able to dive him.
He's getting encroached upon, but he doesn't even know it. Of course, he's just going to show himself now, but as soon as he does, the entire side, like you said, the Swaghound, they're posturing up to try and get a kill. But as soon as he fades out of vision, that's why you have to be so careful, right? Because that's when Monkey can just jump into the trees. But there's no trees to jump. Oh, nice little mischief dodge. But it's not going to help much because he's still caught in the arena. Still caught by that arrow. And Z-Mage going to swipe him down. And a bit of a head scratcher there because the side of Drip, all of them are on the top side. They're not there to help him. And he presents himself on a bit of a silver platter there. Now Exorcism used with the Arcane Rune. Very nice for him. 30% mana cost reduction. So he's going to have that up very shortly. But they're gonna take the bot tower and a Monkey King kill for absolutely free.
Yep, I'm not gonna push their push their luck trying to hit the high ground. Quite disciplined, really nice because I don't know how they take the fight if Monkey King Arena's up with Stampede. But they are going to run into Drip again mid.
Okay, use up to catch him out. Big Iron can't even get the stomp off in time, has the Stampede. But finally pops it, gonna get out of the way. And not enough. Aquila wasn't. It kind of looked like he was in range there, but he saw doubled back and I maybe thought that the kill was secured, but evidently not so. Big Iron manages to get out of his life here, but now no Stampede cooldown and Arena coming out in 25. They need to be so careful. Still 2 minutes on this Aegis to work with here, but it looks like the Ursa has opted to TP top to try and clear out this wave, so the pressure gonna slow down for now.
Just momentarily, I'd imagine they connect back on him pretty soon. Just this tier 1 top is kind of free and it will give them access to the next rush.
Indeed it will, and as you called it, Chiyo, a bit of a prophet yourself. The entire side of Swaghound rotating towards the top side. The cooldowns are going to come off right now, Exorcism up in another 20 and they can definitely use that for the incoming fight. Like you said, Aegis still available, 2 minutes on that bad boy, so it's still Z-Mage can still kind of run wherever he wants, has the Blink Dagger completed as well, so the backliners, especially off the side of Team Drip, need to be so careful. We've already seen how scary it is for the Ember when he gets out of mana and caught up in that arena. But they're gonna take this for free. They're gonna TP out under vision, so they could try and pick a fight here if they're not careful. But the arena out into mid wants to save this tower. 38 HP, but Smoke can't finish it off. The last hit is there, but Smoke now turning around with a Boundless Strike. Where is the follow-up? It's not there at the moment. And Zackman, he could turn it around to Aquila here if he's not careful. Throws out the chains. And Aquila, he's gonna fall. Posturing a bit too far forward, but meanwhile, Exorcism in the top side. They're splitting their resources pretty nicely here. Yeah. And this is gonna be another tier 2 taken, more than likely. Meanwhile though, a fight caught out. Lone gonna get stopped out by Big Iron, but Logano, he's the one under threat from Z-Mage here. 1 minute left on the Aegis and Exorcism running out. They need to be so careful. In this room to work with for Zackman, he can sneak in, but silence preemptive. They know he's there. Z-Mage stand up. The Big Iron, he's countered out on the side. Stampede comes out, runs out of the grasp of Z-Mage, and no enrage at this point. Needs to be so careful. 30 seconds until the Aegis. They're gonna pop it. That's the first life of Z-Mage. There's no Exorcism. Where is the backup? Simple Jack. He's under a threat himself. He's trying to finish off Logano, and he does. Z-Mage gets out of that situation, but now Zackman with the ultra kill, can they finish off Z-Mage? The chains are there, and that is gonna be a rampage stolen by Rise. Zackman can't be too pleased about that, but a 5-man team wipe, back, putting herself back solid inside the game. Team Drip have got to be feeling good.
Or another remnant. Not gonna look for it this time though.
Nah, he was just he was
out of mana, right?
Yeah, he was just trying to scare them a little bit maybe with that remnant. You need to be a bit careful though because Aquila can really hex him up if he's not fast enough with the moves. But We'll see whether he even opts to go back. Yeah, I think he recognizes that Remnant's a bit too far forward. Maybe I don't want to jump into that look. And Taisa's like, they're just waiting for him, they're like daring him to come forward. He's not gonna take the bait.
It's like a game of chicken, right?
Yeah, it's like a game of chicken. And those Remnants don't give vision, so you don't know who's lurking there waiting. But like we said, the Aghanim Scepter completer allowing him to just dance around these fights. And that really proved useful there in that previous fight where he just managed to kite around exactly where he needed to be. Cleans them up. Now Swaghound, their timing severely halted. They're gonna have to wait for the next Roche in around 2 minutes perhaps is where they can start to respawn. But in this long period, it's starting to look a bit weird because they've taken most of the outer towers now. The Exorcism, you're looking towards this mid tower perhaps, but there's so many angles at which the side of Team Drip can really fight from, and so many trees that Smoke can get that Wukong's command set up from. Echo Saber and Maelstrom completed, looking towards that BKB now, working towards it. Not too far behind the Ursa on the net worth, so nice little recovery here for this Monkey King. The top of the chart still is this Ember, also working towards the BKB now, only looking like what? 1,000 gold away? So that's gonna be huge for him in terms of the fights. He's gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah, until his BKB expires, they don't really have a way to catch him. I guess he could go for the Basher on Ursa like after his BKB because he does need this to stop getting kited around the fights, but it feels like neither team really has a way to catch the Ember or the Ursa this game. It's kind of funny actually.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they can is after they picked off his entire team and catch him as the last straggler, right? They literally killed everyone else on Swag, waited for popped the Aegis, and then all ganged up on that big bad raid boss that is Z-Mage. But once he has the BKB, it's gonna be so hard to get ahead of him. But like we said, it's a game of these pivotal carries, right? In terms of Zackman and Z-Mage, they're gonna be the ones to make it happen. Lone has already made these arenas happen in the mid game. Oh, the stun out, they catch him out. The side of Drip converging onto the Mars, and he's gonna fall. Simple Jack preemptively popping the BKB, and they just stampede away. That's an exorcism use. They need to find more from this, but they can't at the present moment. And Team Drip, they get away with murder.
Oh, do they have enough time to push the mid tower with them? I don't think they do, right?
Yeah, they're gonna have to
Without
fall
arena,
back.
I don't think they can do it.
Yeah, and especially since the BKB was popped so early on from Simple Jack, maybe assuming that they would die for more, but nice discipline from Team Drip to grab the pick that they wanted and get out, right? No one there was getting greedy. They knew what they were there for, and they executed the Mars in quick succession. Oh, but Rise though, I mean, walking to the wrong side of the map, the silence coming out, and Ursa, he doesn't care about your untouchable. He'll touch you all he wants with that overpower, and slices down this Enchantress wandering in the wrong side of the forest.
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue with Enchantress against Ursa, is like overpower literally ignores your whole ultimate. It's really, really sad to play against. And you're also dealing, you know, with the Mirana counter, so a lot of this Enchantress's usefulness in the late game will just be completely mitigated by the Ursa.
Okay, another arena, sort of a whiff from Lone. He's not really been finding the mark with this game. And it's starting to cost them, right? Because every single time he's caught up first or doesn't really latch the arena that he needs to, it makes the fight so exponentially hard for the side of Team Drip, or Swaghound rather. And I mean, as much as Z-Mage, he can stick onto them with that Diffusal Blade, there's only so much that he can do alone. Simple Jack eyeing up that
Everyone's
study.
kind of just biding time for the next Roshan, right?
Yeah, Roshan's
There's
coming
not
up
really
in
too
less
much
than a
action.
minute. But look at the vision set up already for the side of Team Drip. They have eyes on exactly everything going on here. Of course, they don't really have the towers to enter the fight in, but once again, speaking of wards, very nice deep wards inside the jungle of the side of Team Drip on the Radiant as well. The smoke, maybe a bit of a... Oh, okay, so it was a dire scan right on the spot, so maybe someone misclicked there a bit. I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be in the grand scheme of things, but they have taken full control of this triangle now. And I mean...
Full control triangle as Roshan is respawning, so...
Yeah, but I mean, they're being completely spotted out by this ward. So Team Drip, they know what's up, they see the entire side of Swaghound, and they know what they're trying to do. And walks into Roche now, Swag Mage. Oh, BKB pop! That was the Ember BKB immediately, and the Remnants doing so much damage, the magic damage, bursting both supports out in an instant. Big Iron, he's gonna step it up, but it's caught inside the arena. Smoke, he doesn't actually have the Wukong's command to work with, so has the BKB and hit away. But now, as the fight starts to boil down, it's Drip looking like they have an advantage here. They managed to finish off that Simple Jack DP as well, and Zackman No stopping him on this Ember. Another ultra kill for this Ember. And they're looking at the Ursa TPing out, but don't manage to get the slide chains in time. Narrowly escapes certain death there. And even without the Wukong's command, a very nice initiation onto them. Zachman just blowing them apart.
That's 2 back-to-back ultra kills for the Ember Spirits.
Dire's bottom tower is being attacked.
I mean, he's getting so fat, and once he gets Refresher, like, there's going to be so much catch from him, like, so much damage. Like, all those remnants, Maelstrom procs from the slides as well, just completely decimated the supports before the fight even really kind of, you know...
Yeah, just,
came
I
to
mean,
a
if you need any further indicator, just look at the damage down. 5,300 from this Ember alone.
Ooh.
More than double of everyone else in the entire game, actually, but... Yeah, they're trying to
That's
set out on
intense.
Roche, but it feels a bit awkward because, yeah, your Zachman, Ember Spirit isn't here, but has to be a bit careful where he goes though, could get caught out. No arena to work with, but the spear out, making some distance for now. Zachman, he's gonna have to run the other way. Not sure
Yeah,
what
Mars
looms
has
so
to
in the
be keeping
shadows.
out. Imagine they don't feel comfortable, like, trying to press for that pickoff.
Yeah, nice little call out. Mars has the BKB and completed BKB just now on that Ursa as well, but not enough to keep him alive. Or at least not enough for him to do the damage that he needs to. Big Iron with the stun, but Z-Mage blinking forward. The Aethos set up by Spaceman, nicely done, but now Z-Mage under a bit of threat, has to pop the Enrage. That's a huge cooldown if they're gonna keep track of it. But now with this Enrage
Dude, Rise is
pop,
doing so much damage with these impetus shots into the Ursa.
yeah, still tossing those away into... Oh, a stomp. Slightly off the mark there from Big Iron. Not sure what he's looking for there, but they're gonna get a nice
Probably
little
thought they were
deal up.
in the rush, right?
Yeah. But the entire side of Drip, they're being spotted out by a nice ward over here by the side of Swaghound yet again. And both teams posturing around the pit. They know how important this Roshan is gonna be.
Both teams have had a pretty strong vision game this game. Like, it feels like they're constantly aware of what the other person is, like the other team is doing, even if they don't realize that they're being watched themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so a bit of a weird situation here. They were both posturing around the pit, and then they both just kind of give up. I mean, the side of Swaghound, they just rotate towards the top side. Meanwhile, mid lane could find a pick here on the lone, but the Moonlight Shadow gonna keep him safe for now. Cloak him from danger at this present moment. They gotta know the team is split up here. Team Drip, what do they want to do? They're not the ones who can really get Roshan uncontested, right? They're not the ones who can really go in the pit and threaten that take. That's the side of Swaghound. The Swaghound, they're playing it slow for now. They know the Rosh is up, but Z-Mage maybe he's waiting for
Ursa
the
has
dash.
been missing for a while. They might know a rush is happening, but the Z-Mage is gonna walk into it now.
Yeah, starting it off, and the Rosh falls so fast to this Ursa. The arrow most likely gonna come out as well. They help him out. Nope, not at the present moment. But another pulse
pulse?
coming out from the side of Drip.
Do you think Drip ran out of tips?
Do you think Drip what?
Do you think Drip ran out of tips?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But
I have a
actually,
big counting.
I mean, it looks kind of like a really tough game, right, for the side of Swaghound, but actually, a lot of the net worth advantage is purely on this Ember, right? As much as the Monkey King is keeping up, Smoke hasn't really been able to do what he needs to in this fight. It really has been Zachman who's cleaning them up. And like you said, Z-Mage has a really good matchup into the Monkey King as this Ursa, and it's only going to be made even easier once he grabs that Aegis for himself, which looks like it's going to be the case. Exorcism popped as
This
well
was
for
like-
security.
The longer this game goes, the easier it gets for Ursa to just really run over these late game fights, right? Like, every single time he gets a survivability on, that's another survival. Like, oh shit!
Yeah,
it's
with the
not
BKB, they're jumping in onto Z-Mage here. Stampede popped as well, but Spaceman, the support, Zachman, he has their eyes on them. And he's gonna pick them both off yet again, but now Zachman, BKB used, Yulsa could chain the silence here, but manages the sleight of fist and dodge away. The Aghanim Scepter, enough for him to get out of dodge here, and yet again, right under their noses, just kills both supports and gets out alive.
This will come in handy.
Are you saying anything? No, right? Hello?
No. Oh, sorry. I
Okay.
have put talk on. Sorry, my bad completely.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah, I was going to say Ember Ags is just. It feels like without an Abyssal, it's just so hard for them to catch him, right? Because if we
Okay,
don't
speaking of catch though, Z-Mage gonna get his hands on Lugano, takes him down. They're gonna pick him off there.
it's a good catch.
Yeah, I mean, they
If they're
just
just trying
holding
to
this
control his
triangle.
air, they'll have Aegis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like I just mentioned the exact same thing. Wonderful, wonderful.
We think alike.
How
We think
important do you
alike.
think this Rise Lotus Orb is going to be?
I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like it does kind of iron up this late game issue, right? Because as much as Zackman is doing really well and getting away with killing these supports, like the real issue comes if Aquila ever gets his hands on him, right, with the BKB down. So the Lotus Orb on their Zackman Ember Spirit is really gonna help him out there, because that means the Shadow Shaman can't just, oh, a nice two-man hoof stomp followed up by a Centaur neutral. But Zackman, he's under some fire here. They're forced to pop the Stampede. What looked like a nice initiation from Big Iron ends up being them having to flee.
Dude, the Mindbreaker from the Ursa is disrupting the Ember quite a bit. Because they doesn't want to pop the BKB for a Mindbreaker silence, right? It's 1.5 seconds, but then he does just lose half his HP.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get out in the end thanks to the Stampede, but obviously that doesn't really feel good using that ultimate. Of course, any time that you buy during this period where the Aegis is up is valuable time, regardless of how many spells you have to use. You peel them off your mid tower, peel them off this area, and now you kind of all have to rotate to the bot side. So this slow push is coming in. So 2.5 minutes to work on for the Aegis here for Z-Mage.
I feel like without the Stampede, you could try to high ground, right?
Yeah, but
with the Exter?
Also, I feel like they're trying to wait for Skullback. I mean, as I say that, it's probably going to be completed soon. But yeah, they're trying to high ground this bot side. They have the ward set up, so they feel more confident about pushing in this side than the mid. And rightfully so, the mid tower still up. And like I said before, so many angles for the side of Team Trip to come in from. It doesn't really feel very safe. I mean, as we say that, they are actually opting not to push the high ground, just kind of scattering the jungle and farming away.
Interesting decision, because how pressured do you feel as Dire to like take a fight? You have 2 minutes left in the Aegis, but if you try to wait for an item, doesn't it feel like all your lanes just you can't fix them because of Ember? Like there's a lot of split push potential in Radiant just because of how mobile they are. It feels like you kind of really have to hammer down a lane to use this Aegis properly.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like, also you're pushing into Ember, Lugano, he's gonna get tagged up here, but Z-Mage, now Spear, it's gonna finish off that Ogre Magi. Here comes the Stampede again to make the distance, but Smoke, he's the middle of them all, pops the BKB though, and Aquila a bit too far forward, drops the snakes, but Simple Jack with the Shivas as well. BKB on Zackman, he needs to be so wary as to when that runs out, which is right about now. They could come in for the counter initiate here. Z-Mage, they've Yuled up this Ember, the silence isn't there in time, but the stun from the not the Abyssal Blade, but the Skull Basher into the Mars Spear. They managed to nail this Ember, and that's a huge kill, 834, that's a godlike streak. And without this Ember, what else can side of Drip really offer? Suction up is Big Iron, and he's gone a bit too far forward. The Centaur and the Ember down.
1600 gold for the Ursa.
Yeah, no
Oh, the tip in return!
no Wukong's command to work with. And yeah, the tip's coming out. They're gonna push towards this high ground. And I mean, there is the Ember buyback, but that really hurts your game so much if you have to commit it here. You might just have to if they want to hold on for the racks, but you could also just give this up if they were really wanting to kind of hang on to Ember's game. Here comes the Shivas, the stun takes out the first life of the Ursa.
Also, like 10 seconds left in the Aegis, 5 seconds. That's probably the best way they could have used that, right? Just to secure that tier 3 before, you know, it expires.
Yeah, it looks like that's just about all they will secure though. As the rest of the side of Team
I imagine they just respect them, right? Sorry, I feel like I keep talking over you.
It's okay.
It's not okay, but... Yeah, I mean, Aquila wasn't there because he had TP top to hold that wave, so... 4v5 potential with the buyback, I'd imagine they just want to leave.
I feel like Aquila keeps getting himself into weird spots, right? Like he tries to blink forward to get the hexes off, but I feel like there's so much he needs to worry about between the AoE damage of like the Ember Spirit as well as the Monkey King just laying the Wukong's command on top of him. It's so hard to play as this Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, it feels like you have to be this kind of backline caster, but Rasta's cast ranges are not that amazing. So you'll end up getting caught by so many of, like, you know, the aforementioned AoE spells that it makes our game very hard to play in these fights. Like, if you want to cast on a priority target, you have to be so close to them, you will kind of just die to the other person. Like, in around 2 seconds there.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
we
it's just
say
to see
that,
how what he does, because
we say that, but take a look at the cast range on his Shackles and Hex. He actually has quite a significant amount, especially that Aether Lens and the Psychic Headband. But I feel like he's just been consistently caught out in these fights, and I think he's the missing control that they need, right? Because so far, like Ember Spirit and Monkey King with the BKBs up, they've just been allowed to run rampant, and now
Oh,
a fight in the
Lord.
mid lane though. Lone. He's gonna get Akila is gonna be the first one to get caught out though, and now Lone has to pop the arena and the BKB as well. Simple Jack is there to try and help what he can though, but finished off by the Sleight of Fist. It's starting to look a bit rough for the side of Swaghound, but here comes Big Bad Z-Mage. Ursa is here to play, pop the BKB, but right into a Wukong's command smoke, hitting away, but the Boundless Strike not gonna connect on that BKB. Ursa, Drit, he's gonna be the first one to fall. They're gonna take down the Enchantress at first, but now Zackman caught up by that arrow. Simple Jack falling a little low as well. They need to be so careful, but Silence Up is this Ember Spirit. What else does he have to offer? Not a lot. Lugano throwing out the spells, but Zackman has the Star Fist in a moment. Simple Jack though, the Ghost just coming back in time to just heal him up. And just like that, they need to back off Lugano. He's not gonna be so lucky though. And with that buyback from the Mars, was that a Mars buyback? Let me double check. Yeah, it was a Mars buyback, but BKBs and ultis popped on all ends and managed to take down the Monkey King. I feel like Zackman has to feel so lucky right now that he got away with his life because it was so damn close.
that was so close. Oh, another kill.
Big Iron immediately dies back though, but
really rough.
yeah, that stings. Big Iron not having the performance that he really wants, but now Zackman A needs to be so careful. There's a Skull Basher. If he's not paying attention, yeah, he could get bashed up.
Oh no.
And that's most of his BKB down. Caught out by the arena, but manages to remnant out. But now Big Iron, that's gonna be a dieback for him. Caught in the arena with no help whatsoever. And he managed to zone out.
That's really rough. The Abyssal is complete now, so could chain the stun into the... Oh, Snake's dropped. Could chain the stun into the Spear if they so choose, but they will just try to kite out. The killer gets caught on the backside. Feels like... Alright, that engaged mid on the kill looked like a perfect bait, but everybody's trickling so slowly that a lot of people get caught before they can get all their spells off, and it does turn out okay by the end of it, but definitely could have been a lot worse for Team Drip had they all been coordinated together.
I mean, that just kind of feels like the typical, like, you see your teammates die and you panic, you buy back immediately. You feel like, oh man, we were in the lead here, but now they're suddenly taking out Rex, we should buy back and defend, and then it kind of ends up slightly disastrous for them. What looked like an even game all along, at the 40-minute mark now, it's a 7k gold lead, barely, but I mean, that gold lead doesn't really matter. It's just kind of been teamfight execution so far, and Swaghound, they definitely have the easier draft to play, right? All the disables coming out in full force from them just make it so hard for the Ember to dance around in the fight with his BKB down.
Yeah, and we didn't mention it much, but right now with the Butterfly, Echo and Maelstrom, like, without the Desolator, they don't really have that much damage for the DP, right? So you saw in that fight, just kind of just popped Exo, sat in the middle of 3 healers, and at the end of it, just got all the ghosts back to heal herself just in time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel
to be
like
fair,
they're
they
kind of missing damage.
Yeah, they almost got her. It's just kind of like a bit of target prioritization issues, right? Especially Spaceman, with that Moonlight Shadow just covering their tracks, right? I don't know whether he got the talent. Yeah, he got Moonlight Shadow, gives 20 evasion. So as if like they weren't slippery enough, it's even harder to kind of catch sight of them and get hold of them with that physical damage. But yeah, all these factors coming into play to just make Swaghound even more slippery. And we talked about this Ember being scary, but with that BKB, as soon as it's down, I'm pretty sure it's already at 6 seconds. Let's take a quick look. Yes, it is. And 6 seconds BKB isn't a lot to work with, all things considered. Especially since you're now contending with an Abyssal Blade, right?
Yeah, 6 seconds is so... It feels so short when you're having to deal with both an Abyssal and, like, the threat of insta-hex from the Rasta. As long as Rasta's not dead and you have no BKB, you don't really have a way to enter fight. It just feels so awkward because you're going to get hexed straight away if you try. And Swaghound's gonna run into Roche.
Yeah, I mean, they're just gonna start it off. They know that they're stronger, or at least they're feeling stronger. And in-blinks Z-Mage as well, but they gotta know. Here comes Big Iron. The stun out. They pick off Spaceman at first. No buyback on the Mirana. That's a 4v5 immediately.
The Roche is dropping so low.
Yeah, there's so many important skills used, like the Boundless Strike as well as the Full Storm and the Blink, right? You can't contest this in time. And they grab the Aegis as well as the Cheese and the Aghanim Scepter for their Ursa.
Oh, Ag's blessing for Ursa is so huge. 'Cause now when you try to chain CC him, say with the multicast, like you can just pop ult, strong dispel himself, and just get rid of all the CC they pile on him. This guy's gonna be so hard to kill. Now I'm not sure if this works, but when you have your Ag's scepter and the shard, can you earth shock while you're hard CC?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank goodness. Satanic done for the Ursa? That's so huge.
Yeah, and he's not scared about saving buyback, right? Because he has the BKB and the Aegis, and not to mention how difficult he is to take down already. The blink away Aquila, he spotted out Rise, but it's Lone who blinks forward, tries to get this kill. Here comes the Shackles. The Serpent Ward's affected by the Untouchable as well, which is pretty funny to look at, but it's only going to keep him alive momentarily as he falls. They're picking out the vision that they think they have, but really, it was just a little bit of sight from here instead. So with that kill...
I like how Loren's just like taunting under the shackles. They're kind of feeling themselves right now.
Yeah. I mean, how can they not, right? They have this powerful Ursa leading the charge. And they have the EXO coming up very shortly, if I'm not wrong. The snakes are going to be... I lied. It's still 1 minute until the EXO, but the snakes are there. They're going to be able to secure up the range racks. And probably the melee as well. This is going to be a second lane for them. But here comes Z-Mage. He's in immediately onto Zagman. Needs to be so careful on that Ember Spirit. They pop the Stampede just to get out. And the BKB blink forward. So scary from Z-Mage.
That's 40 seconds where if Ursa jumps in again with the Abyssal, he's kind of just dead. He has 10 stacks of Furious Fights on him right now. He has to be so careful.
And Lone, with that arena coming off cooldown, they're rotating towards the top side. They don't want to relent this pressure, but they don't actually have a creep wave to work with. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem to them though. Here comes the Blink Storm, only onto Simple Jack. And Z-Mage has already cleaned up Lugano. The Ogre is buyback, not committing it for now, but Big Iron, he's falling low. Spaceman started to be cleaned up by Zagman, but now it's the lift up from the Yules, keeping himself alive. Not for long though, Z-Mage still fighting 1v1 against his monkey under his own Wukong's command. But here comes the spear into the wall, and the arena as well finishes off the Monkey King. They have buybacks on the Ogre, they have a buyback on the Monkey. But this is starting to look pretty dire. Z-Mage still has the Aegis to work with. Exorcism pop now, they want to get this tower, but Z-Mage straightforward onto Rise, picks off the Enchantress. Meanwhile though, Simple Jack has to be so careful, falling a little low, but the Spirit Siphon keeping him alive. Those heals, they're insane. Simple Jack, can he even die? Absolutely not. Push back into the wall of smoke, and there's the dieback on both the Ogre as well as the Monkey King. Yes, he finishes him off finally on Zagman, but now he has to be so careful. Remnanting away, is this Ember Spirit? The spear gonna be off the mark. Buyback from Rise just to heal his Ember Spirit up. But once again, Z-Mage still the Aegis to work with, nothing to be afraid of. But it looks like they still want to juice this Aegis just yet. They don't want to give it up so quickly. Or will they? They're staying around though. You need to be so careful about this lone setup. But yeah, they're gonna think better of it and back up for now.
There's no rush. Like, you got 2 lanes of racks already. And you still have a minute 30 on the Aegis, so you could try to pick a fight once DP starts, and you have 30 seconds, right, to kind of use this Aegis. Or at least, like, plant yourself in the middle of the fight and just kite out as soon as it's expiring. Zagman buyback is gonna hurt his game so much, because now that he doesn't have it, he has to play so scared. He's running into Ursa.
I mean, it's not entirely the end yet. They managed to hold their tower, and we've seen, like, this Ursa, as much as he can pick off the backlines, he still can't really stand in the Wukong's command, right? Especially since his Monkey King has that butterfly. Ends up helping keep him alive for a considerable amount of time. So, I mean, this Monkey King, he's starting to reach a point where he can really start to dish out serious amounts of damage. But it really just is like the entirety of the rest of his team is just falling, right? Big Iron, he's going in the stuns, but then immediately he's just gonna get picked off and sliced down. And Simple Jack on the meanwhile though, takes so long for them to get killed. But now Big Iron, he's gonna be tagged up immediately. The stomp available, but there's a BKB Ursa, my friend. Abyssal as well to clean up the centaur. And in one fell swoop, we talk so much about Big Iron, and immediately he disappears before our very eyes. Aquila, Aeon this proc now. Needs to be careful. Spells being thrown out. Aquila falling a little low. There's Big Iron with the second buyback in such a short duration. Aquila being chained up. I believe that's the death of the Shadow Shaman, but now Big Iron, that's the buyback. Disarming up Z-Mage, but Lone is still there, and they get Lugano as well. There's Mega Creeps from the side of Simple Jack. Or from the side of Swag, rather. And now Smoke trying to do what he can with the Wukong's command. Simple Jack being hit up, but like you said, with the armor. They don't really have a Deso to cut through him. Exorcism popped again. And now, Rise gonna get arrowed up. Z-Mage gonna stun up Zackman with the Basher. Manages to get the Remnant out, but a nice finish from Lone. What can they do here? It's both the cause of the side of Team Drake. They can't really contend a full-blown EXO firing off from Simple Jack. And Z-Mage still sitting pretty at full HP basically. Zackman, what can you do other than eat these tips? Eat your own medicine. And it looks like it's Swaghound that managed to take away game number 1.
It's just the Ursa problem. They have no way to deal with the Ursa, and what a performance from Z-Mage to be able to use that to its advantage. And they just have so many damage issues that they just can't kill any of these cores in the fights.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the supports, they just kind of faded into irrelevance, especially with this Ursa becoming so powerful, right? As much as we saw Zackman able to clean up the supports on the side of Swaghound earlier on, once they start to get the defensive items like the Yules from Spaceman as well as Aquila with the Aeon Disc, it takes so much longer for them to do that damage and take out the integral part of the fight. Meanwhile, Simple Jack, Lone and Z-Mage just basically unkillable, standing firm in the fights. And where's the damage? Where's the kill threat coming out from Team Drake?
Yeah, it's just, it wasn't there in that game.
I feel like the supporting cast just like ended up like, the thing about Ogre and Enchantress, right, is like you invest so hard into your early lanes and then it just doesn't work out, and from there it's just so difficult to get back on top, right? Like, as much as your cores can, yes, they can make use of the Bloodlust, but Ogre, you're not really doing a lot in these fights at this point in time, especially with how farmed the rest of Swaghound are, and just not able to push the tempo. Like, I feel like Smoke and Big Iron, they just didn't manage to keep up in the game.
Yeah, it felt like that whole game was just on Zackman's shoulders, but it just doesn't have damage. Like, is that just an Ember thing? Like, felt like he could kill the supports fine, but when you're dealing with this 3800 HP Ursa, like, you're not even putting a dent in him.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just all down to the fact that, like, the side of Swaghound, they just had such a free game, right? Z-Mage, Simple Jack, even though he caught that early death to the Ember, like, he managed to recover in a big way and build the right items, has that use to kind of just like wane off whatever stray disable they have, and the BKB and Shivas immediately after becomes this tanky monster that they can't really deal with, all the while the EXO dealing so much damage. And I mean, so much of the physical damage coming out from the Monkey King just completely negated thanks to the AC picked up from Lone as well. So all around, just very nice itemization and understanding of the fact that they're strong now. And I mean, the supports as well on the side of Swaghound itemizing correctly to just buy them so much more time against the Ember. And from there, it just seems make it look easy. Fire back after some tips coming out, a bit of unfriendly banter it seems. And yeah, didn't seem like it was all that in good faith, but Swaghound, they managed to take game number 1, and of course we've already casted game number 2. But we know how this ends. I don't actually remember how it pans out. But yeah, so that's all for this series.
If I recall correctly, it was the Zackman Tiny game, right?
Yeah, against the Viper, right? And
Swaghound, yeah.
So Swaghound 2-0 then. Monka.
Yep, Monka, dude.
Yeah. I
mean, that's a rough way to go when you're like tipping them and then you end up losing 0-2. That's rough.
Yeah, not the cutest. But I mean, it is what it is, and that is the end of the series for today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a bit like exhausted. So